Don?
What's that? Oh, no. Oh, look,
How much is he? I mean, yeah.
Well, it's the last game of the season. You know, obviously, you know, in both clubs' viewpoint, there's finals aren't on the agenda, but there's still 4 points to grab, and as a footy club, we want to be unconditional to the end. So, opportunity for us to finish the season strongly and take some positivity into off season.
And a word on Elliot.
Yeah, fantastic for Elliot. Yeah, get a run. He's, as I said previously, he's been in pretty good form in Sample. He's sort of developed over the 2 years he's been here and put on a little bit of size and shown some things. So it's going to be a good opportunity for him tomorrow night. Looking forward to seeing what he produces.
Does that mean Mitch plays back? Yeah.
Well, there's a possibility of that. You know, we'll weigh out what sort of looks best for the team. Obviously, last week, you know, and the way they picked their side this week, Carlton have got the three talls in McKay, Curnow and Young De Conning. So, yeah, we'll weigh out what the best mix is. But yeah, Mitch back is an option.
Does that mean you think your forward line looks better with sort of Galucci, smaller type guys?
Well, we're sort of well, not necessarily, because we know that Mitch can play sort of tall and small because he's got good speed and. So as much as he's a marking player, he's actually got good speed on the ground. So we'll have a look at what it looks like tomorrow night, and you know, we'll get a slightly different look at times, but other times we might get a similar look than we've had before.
No, you were quizzed about his future earlier this morning.
Yep.
Just asked you the same question.
What's that?
What do you expect to see him in?
Well, he's a contracted player. You know, he's contracted for 2 more years. We're aware of the speculation around his contract, and again, I don't want to necessarily deal in that speculation, but you know, there are probably conversations we'll have after the weekend in terms of what it looks like. And my philosophy is very much work with the player in terms of trying to work out if he's unhappy here or otherwise, what can we do to maintain that sort of, you know, guide our footy club, and hopefully there's a resolution in there. If he comes and says he wants to go, we'll work through that.
Is there any issue? Is any foundation to this speculation, Don? Or
well, I walk around in the world like everyone else, and generally, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I can only expect that, you know, there's some information either through him or management that, you know, he's not happy here at times. So we need to have that conversation.
Is that just a pretty straight shooter as a bloke? So,
yep.
I mean, has he given any indication to you, or is that something that he has also said, oh, well, I'm going to not talk about?
No, not really. No, and we've had some conversations around, you know, obviously when I became aware that he was, you know, those rumours were there, we sat down and had a conversation around what it looks like. So, as I said, we'll deal with that post-game.
Sorry, no. Is that disappointing? Though he signed a contract extension less than 12 months ago, surprising? Yeah. It's uncommon.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, each individual's different. That's the one thing you learn in this game is, you know, we've had a really good track record this year of re-signing some players. We've got a lot of guys who are really happy in the environment, doing well, but that doesn't mean that's for everyone. So, as I say, we'll cross that bridge if that bridge presents post-game.
Do you think the game's evolved a little bit in that space, in that the players now feel like they have an opportunity to move if they're not sort of in the right mental space in one place, given they've got free agency now, and trades happen a lot more?
Well, I think that's come into the game. You know, certainly the free agency throws that, you know, and obviously players coming out of contract now probably more than ever exploring their options, and you know, the market has changed in terms of availability, and everyone's salary cap's at a different space, everyone's lists at a different space. So, you know, there's interest in, you know, as we found this year, there's interest in a lot of our players who are coming out of contract, as there is, you know, whether it be an Andrew Gaff or Jeremy McGovern out of West Coast. There's always going to be that interest, and with that, you know, comes the lure of other opportunities and things. So I think that's just the nature of the game we're in at the moment.
Are you tempted not to select somebody who may not be here next year?
Oh, it hasn't been an issue.
Paul Seaton, another contract extension, do you expect him to?
Yeah, look, when those conversations are ongoing, so I don't want to necessarily go blow by blow in terms of our list management, but, you know, Seeds has indicated strongly, as you probably read last week, that he wants to stay here, so we're having those conversations, and hopefully we can get a good resolution on that one.
Just to go, was Mitch unhappy, did he say? Was there a point where Mitch said, I am unhappy here?
No, it's not about whether he's unhappy, it's how I describe it. Each player sort of walks in with you know, how are they travelling? You know, and some of that is, you know, on with the program or with what's going on, and you know, they're the conversation we have. And again, I don't want to disclose, you know, personal conversation I've had with him as to some of his concerns around what might have been the program and other bits and pieces. So that's where it sits.
One more slightly list management-y question
Yeah.
for you. More looking ahead into the off-season. Those two young South Australian boys, I'm sure you've touched on this in the past, but
yep.
Is that something that you look at, given they've brought in this new live training system and all that?
Yeah, well, that's something our recruiters are sort of looking at. Obviously, we're aware there's some really high-end SA talent in the draft, and we're sitting at the moment with 3 picks inside the top 20. So that gives us a few trading pieces to look at, and I'm sure that once the season's finished, they'll sit down and go, well, what do we need to do in terms of our list, and how do we position ourselves to maybe try and secure some of that talent, which is, I think it's going to be smart business.
Again, I'm sure it's not something that you've thought about a whole lot, but some have the philosophy that 3 in the top 20 might be better than 1 in the top 5 or something. Have you got a
again, that's really left to our recruiting and our list management group to go, well, how they rank the talent, who's likely to be available where, and what picks ideally do we want. Now, again, whether it's 3 in the top 20, you convert 2 of those into something higher up, that's really for them to come and make a recommendation.
So there is a plan B if Mitch does happen to go?
Oh, there's always plan B.
Do you get involved in that as much as the outside sort of world thinks that coaches do, Dom?
In terms of what?
In terms of, would you say to Reedy, if Mitch does go, then let's use one of our picks and get Lukosius, or does Reedy come to you with that plan?
That's probably driven by our list management recruiting staff in terms of what does it look like. As I said, it's hard for me. In my job, I don't get around to look at all the under-18 talent to assess where they sit. So that's their job. They watch a lot of games of footy, interview people, do a whole range of things to come up with a plan as to how we can best position ourselves at each draft. And there's a lot of moving pieces because you've got a trading period, you've got a list management in terms of delisting and assessing all those options as well. So once the season finishes, we sort of start into that. But that probably starts in earnest once the whole season's finished, which is going to be at the end of September.
How frustrating is it for you that we're having these discussions with you on sort of August 23 and not like September 30?
In terms of the end of the season? Yeah, well, it's clearly, as I said last week, it's disappointing that we're going to be watching in September, and that's something which we take away some learnings, and we take away what we need to now do better. And I guess that little bit of extended break gives us the opportunity to make sure when we get back, we're ready to go, and we're ready to get back to playing that footy really consistently that we did, say, last year, which I think we've shown signs this year, but it just hasn't been for long enough in games or consistently enough between games, which has meant we miss out now. That's life. We deal and play with the hand we've dealt.
Was there any thought of giving Sam Gibson a farewell game?
No, I mean, look, in Sam's case, it was obviously he's finishing up with his AFL career, and he's been fantastic for us coming across. Played some games for us early, and then was injured and sort of struggled to get back in. But look, he'll play in the SANFL level, and it wasn't really again, he's the sort of guy he is as well. He's played 130 games at North, and he's played 8 or 9 here, so he was probably feeling like just finishing the season was going to be him sort of saying goodbye to his AFL career at whatever level.
Do you think Carl Channing's played his last game for the Crows?
No, I'm not going to comment on that, man.
What can we expect from the Blimp Himmelberg?
The what?
Oh God, Himmelberg.
The Blimp Himmelberg. Well, I think you could.
We wrap it up.
What's that? Are we finished, are we? The Blimp Himmelberg, we've got to there. I don't think he'll be very happy with you calling him a blimp, to be honest, but anyway.
Not really comment on his shape.
No, I was going to say, look, he's an exciting young player. First gamer coming in at his size, look, we're after him just to come in and sounds really, really old, but to play his role and, and do what he does. And, first game is always exciting for a young guy, so we don't put any real massive expectations. He knows how we want to play. He knows the role he has to play, and it's just an exciting time for a young guy to get his first jumper and get a chance to play. So
pretty good raps on him, compared to his brother as well. Like, he's obviously got some ability.
Yep. Yeah, that's why we got him to the footy club. That's why we recontracted him earlier this year, because we see some real progression in him, and he'll get a taste of it, which is going to be good for him going into an off season to actually get an experience about what AFL football looks like. So, and he's got some things to offer, which is why we're excited to see what he can do tomorrow night.
Quite a few holes in defence with Tull's having surgery.
Yep.
Are you confident you can cover all those holes?
Yeah, we are. I mean, obviously we'll get Alex Keith back, who missed last week's game. He was really good the week before against Jeddah Burst on Cameron. So, he comes back in, which bolsters that, gives us a bit more height down there. And obviously with Tales, unfortunately this week with his calf, he couldn't even get up and get going running, and that was why we made the decision to say, well, he needed the thumb surgery anyway, so we got him in to get that done. So early in the week we were really hopeful, but once he started trying to run on Monday and Tuesday, it was quite clear that he was pushing an uphill battle, so we took the opportunity to get him into surgery early.